That's right. Third Phase of Moon back, live, taking your calls from around the world. Wow, this is going to be an incredible show. We've got Mr. Alex Mistretta. He's one of the few full-time professional investigators in the UFO field. He worked at MUFON, Los Angeles, director of investigations, and a former MUFON, part of the MUFON STAR team. He's currently the director of investigations for the U.P.A.R.S. administration, and Alex is a cryptozoologist. He broke some news just this week in regards to these photographs that you're looking at right now. The 1970s, Navy, Arctic, something went down, something massive, something big. When we shared this on Third Phase of Moon, the world was shocked. And I know Mr. Mistretta has some information for us right here at Third Phase of Moon. We're going to be going over what the story behind these photographs, and hopefully we could get some information, some answers. And if anybody has any questions for Alex, the number to call in is 347-934-0378. Is everybody ready for a ride right here at Third Phase of Moon? Let's get to it. Alex Mistretta, you there?
Yes, I am. How are you?
Hey, pretty good. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You know what? Let's get down to it. What's up with these photographs that have basically almost broke the internet? Quite amazing.
Yeah, this really blew up. It even surprised me. Yeah, what happened was I got a call about a week and a half ago to 2 weeks I have some sources in Europe that I've used in the past on prior investigations, mostly on Russian UFOs, which was one of my favorite subjects. I wrote a chapter in one of my books, so I've used the sources for years. And basically they told me some of these pictures are coming out and you've got to check them out. And they're going to be appearing in a French magazine called Top Secret. So I've heard these stories before, crazy pictures. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll check them out. I wasn't expecting anything much, to be honest with you. Saw the pictures, and as I think everybody can tell, they're pretty mind-blowing. And nobody was investigating this at all. Nobody knew anything, anonymous source sent the photos, and that was it. There was a little bit of info on the magazine. All it said was that they were supposedly taken in March of 1971 from a United States submarine somewhere in the Arctic between Iceland and Jan Mayen Island, which is owned by Norway, by the way. And it named the submarine as the USS Trepang SSN 674. And it named the admiral on board by the name of Dean Reynolds. And that is all the info that you had on this case. So I decided that I wanted this case. I'm going to take it on, and I'm going to pursue this because I think, it was obviously, as you can tell, it's worthwhile.
Absolutely. Shocking photographs. Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, so as it turns out, I was able to confirm through some official channels, and then also Navy website, the internet's really great nowadays, that indeed the sub, the Trepang, was at that location in March of 1971, for sure. They were there in a scientific expedition, just some mundane, I don't know, I'm not even really sure exactly what they're doing, but they're going through the Arctic ice, a lot of tests. Anyway, had nothing to do with UFOs or anything, supposedly. And the admiral was indeed on board of the sub. And also, I got another name by the guy by the name of John Klicka, which was, according to the story, was the first guy to see the objects, and he informed the admiral, and they're the ones that took the pictures. So I was able to track both of those guys down. I work with Steve Murillo at U.P.A.R.S, and Steve's an ex-Navy guy. So I asked him to talk to the admiral for me. I was hoping kind of like the Navy connection, would help get some info out. And I talked to John Klicka myself, who actually had heard me on a radio show the week prior, and he was actually interested in talking to me. So anyway, as it turns out, they both denied having anything to do with this, as pretty much expected. The admiral had a great quote. All he said was, "I only saw ice."
Wow. That's, basically the answers you get when you start delving in with public officials. You're pretty much not going to get the answer straight. But what about these photographs? We've analyzed it. We don't see anything that shows any kind of manipulation. They seem very authentic. What is it? We're having opinions. And some of the opinions that are coming in just off right when people see it, they're just like wondering what they're looking at. Maybe it's like a submarine kind of breaching out of the water and then crashing back in, or a major Zeppelin of some sort, some airship, but we just can't quite put our finger on it. What is the census? I know you've worked with Jimmy Church and some other experts in the field. What's their opinions? What's the census of what this object is?
Yeah, I mean, you name it, I've heard every opinion on the planet. I did send these out to a special effects guy. Actually, one of my friends, he's actually working on Independence Day, the new one right now. So he's had a lot of experience in Hollywood, and he was able to take a look at those. And he was pretty sure that they're not doctored and not hoaxes. So now we don't know what they are, right? We know that he's 100% sure that these are real pictures, and so am I. My first impression, to be honest with you, is that these were ours, some kind of test. Because, I mean, they were, the pictures are perfectly framed for the most part. So, and then, I got another lead just today. This is brand new. I had a contact that sent me an email from Germany. And I have to track this down. Like I said, it just came in today. According to him, these are Soviets, or ex-Soviets, or Russians. And that's pretty much all I got so far. So I'm pursuing that angle right now.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
How were these photographs distributed? Did the French magazine make contact with the person that shared the photos? How were they leaked?
Yeah, they were leaked. It's an anonymous source. And, it's one of the reasons I was so public with this, and, I'm doing your show and other shows. I'm hoping whoever sent the pictures can get a hold of me at some point. Yeah, as of right now, we have no idea who took these. Now, I have a little bit of a theory. If you can see on the pictures that Sigma on the side of a lot of those, Sigma, as it turns out, is a photo agency that went out of business in 2010. They were huge in the 70s. They had archives of hundreds of thousands of pictures. They were bought over by Corbett, which was owned by Bill Gates. And they had a lot of legal problems, and they were getting sued left and right. So eventually they liquidated, and they went out of business in 2010. In the meantime, though, these huge archives disappeared. A lot of pictures were destroyed, a lot of pictures were stolen. And as we analyze these pictures, we notice that there's a lot of folds on them. So it appears to me that somebody probably stole them, went in, folded them, maybe put them in a jacket, whatever, and walked out. At least that's my theory for right now. So it could be anybody.
Suppression is the name of the game in the business of trying to cover up photographs such as these, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it could be. What's very strange to me is that they were released to a French magazine, it's a good magazine. I can read French. So, but I mean, what's the readership for that, right? It's minimal. It's not a huge subject in France to begin with, and it's not why release them here. I mean, there and not here. So, which I thought that was kind of strange.
What's absolutely strange too is how massive how big this structure is, and you can see the impact on the ocean over there in the Arctic. What's going on in these photographs is still mind-boggling. When I first saw them, it did remind me straight out of Independence Day. That one photograph of the thing immersing out of the clouds, basically just straight out of the Independence Day visuals right there. But this, to me, seems that this isn't Hollywood. This is something real. And I wish you luck, Alex, in hoping the person that shot these photographs reach out. Let's break this. See what's up. What's going down.
Yeah, we're hoping. I have another lead on another potential sub. But, the bottom line is if the Trepang is not responsible, let's assume it's not, and I believe Sackett and Klicka, then really these could come from any sub, from, any nation, if you really think about it. So it's complicated. But, again, I have a few leads. Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, it definitely is a complicated subject matter, trying to get Navy officials to come forward about this. And, just last week we had somebody that was a nuclear specialist and worked for the Navy, and he witnessed a UFO sighting, and he went to report it to the captain, and he was discharged pretty much the next day for being a homosexual. That's how far they'll go to cover up this evidence. So, yeah, sure, it's not going to be an easy thing to get the government to talk about this.
No, I mean, I'm amazed we really got this far already in just a week and a half,
It has. I think it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, worldwide, millions of people woken up to this. So, Alex, good job. You know what? Let's go to some callers, and maybe they got some questions for Mr. Mistretta. Got some strange things going on with the phone line. You know, Alex, what's going on is that I think the world's waking up, and just your diligence trying to get the photos out. I think you did a damn good job. So, Alex, you know what? Keep us up to date. See where this road ends and where it leads.
Yeah, this is only the beginning. I've been 2 weeks into this, basically day and night, so there's still a long way to go. And I'm pretty confident at least we'll get some answers. I mean, maybe not all of them, but I'm on this the whole time.
What kind of feedback from the public have you got? I know you've done some interviews. What's are people emailing you directly and telling you what's the general word on the street with you?
Yeah, it's interesting. I never expected this much. I mean, between the texts and the phone calls and the emails and the comments, it's been a little bit overwhelming. But opinions. I heard it all the last week from some that are really helpful. People have actually given me some leads, some people they know in the Navy and so forth, and some opinions, and I was able to kind of check some of their theories out. So that's always helpful. There's a lot of negative stuff too, where I know how Ben Affleck feels now when he got Batman and all the negative comments, but yeah, it's been almost overwhelming.
Yeah, the trolls always come out when things like this break the news. They just they don't want to believe, or they absolutely believe it, but they're out to discredit it, and that's what they do. But it's quite amazing. We've been on air for about 3 years, third phase of the moon, controversial in every way with some of the videos that we've shared that have come in, and nobody's ever come on the radio and shared what they say when they type it down in the chat line. So that's the way it goes. Let's go to a question. We got an area code 619, Kelly from San Diego. I know he's got a question for Mr. Mistretta. Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going, Blake, Brent? It's more of I was going to ask him what he thought about maybe this is somewhat tied in with the 1947 Operation High Jump down there with Admiral Byrd when they sent all that fleet down there to investigate that there was they had known that the Russians arming the Germans had an underground Navy base underneath the Antarctic ice. And I know there was some videos I've seen before where the Russians were kind of monitoring the communication between the American fleet that went down there. And I'm pretty sure everybody knows the story if you haven't heard. And then what they encountered was they were saying that there was these spaceships coming up out of the water. They were more or less something they have never seen. And then they had lost one of the destroyers that were on. They did a full retreat. They've never heard of a United States or a Navy do a full retreat with that many ships. And from the story they got was, one of the destroyers got destroyed. All the aircraft that they were trying to launch off the aircraft carrier were being taken out at the same time. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I've heard all those stories. The whole area from the Arctic and the Antarctic as well. It's had stories of underwater UFOs since the 40s. And Honestly, I don't know if there's a correlation with this case, per se, because I think these pictures were taken much later. Now, I can't prove this is 1971, of course, for sure. But, with some of the color photos, you can see these obviously were taken at least, after the 60s, probably in the 70s. So I don't think these relate so much to, Operation High Jump or Admiral Byrd, as fascinating those stories are. And, I agree with you. I know the stories, and there's a lot of really good sightings from the war in that area. In fact, the Arctic has always had a lot of activity in Iceland, Norway, Sweden, a lot of the northern countries, for whatever reason.
For whatever reason, no doubt about that. Let's go to another caller, 920. You're live, third phase of moon.
Yeah, I've got a question for him. On those pictures, has the French magazine shared the originals with him so that he can study them with a much better quality?
No, I don't have the original. I was sent some, myself and John Greenwald, who's helping me from the Black Vault on this case. He received some pictures last week, but we were hoping were the original. As it turns out, they weren't. I was able to figure out that, and with the help of John, of course, that on the French website they're selling a CD-ROM. And they were essentially the guy that sent the pictures just got the CD-ROM and then copied the pictures and sent it to us. So we weren't able to study the originals, and I wrote an email, obviously, to the French magazine, and it never wrote back to me. So I don't have access to the original pictures.
So in some of those pictures, it shows kind of like a cloud around it. Is that where it's splashing into the water? Or, I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah, you can tell if you really look at that picture. There's a little red dot. It looks like fire in the middle. So it's obviously an object that's going down. It seems like it was a Navy target maybe, and it was hit, and it's obviously going down. At least that's my theory at the moment. I can't tell you what the object is, but it really seems like it was hit by something.
So right, in one picture, it looks like there's like a dot or a piece of it that's broken off that's flying out away from it.
Yeah, one of the theories that, and this was John's theory as well, that these were actually balloons. And we looked it up, and the Navy did have balloons they used to test as targets back in the early 1900s. Now, obviously, this was many years before these pictures were taken. So the theory is that perhaps these were a new version of these balloons. But if you look at the picture closely, if you see the little pieces flying out, obviously it's not a piece of balloon. It looks to me like it has to be something metallic,
But in the balloon theory, wouldn't it be hard for it to be where it looks like it's emerging from the water or either going into the water because it's displacing a large amount of water that, it doesn't look like a balloon could do something like that. It'd have to have a pretty large payload.
Yeah, it looks more like a submarine, the weight of a submarine or something.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think, personally, I don't think a balloon would have enough weight to have this much displacement. And, my buddy, the Hollywood guy that was analyzing these pictures, he agreed with me too. He thinks it looks like it has some pretty good weight to it.
It's uncanny. It almost looks like the Hindenburg. It's just it brings back those memories, and it's baffling. Go ahead.
I was just going to say kudos to Third Phase for bringing him on tonight. I think this is really a great interview.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, thanks a lot. We reach out to people if we think that story deserves follow-up and, interview the people that share their UFO encounters, their videos, and information. I know there's a lot of people out there, a lot of other channels. They'll just take people's videos and information and just run with it and never, ever do any interviews with the people that are breaking the news. And I think that's what Third Phase of the Moon is about, and letting the public get to ask questions. So I appreciate you joining us right here at Third Phase.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing is, and I realized this story was going to go viral, and, I want to make sure I want to come on the show, since it's my investigation, that I want to get the record straight before, because there's already a lot of articles written all over the world, and it's becoming more and more inaccurate as, the story gets copied and copied. So I wanted to get the record straight.
Absolutely. How many interviews have you done right here in America so far in regards to these photographs?
Besides this one, I was on Coast to Coast last week, and I've been on the Jimmy Church radio show 3-4 times since this came out. So, and I did one more interview, and I can't quite remember the name of the show last Friday. So I've been busy.
Yeah, absolutely. It describes in your bio that you're kind of like part Fox Mulder and part Indiana Jones. Tell us about this Indiana Jones action that you've been involved with.
Yeah, well, we put that, it was for the back cover of on my book. We thought it would look pretty exciting. Yeah, because I've been involved in cryptozoology as well, and that's kind of where the Indiana Jones part comes forth. I spent 2 years, one of my expertise is the cryptozoology in the Congo. So, which I've actually, believe it or not, I've actually never been down there. I've been as far as Paris, and every expedition always kind of fell through at the last second due to mostly civil war down there. But,
there's a famous
yeah. I'm sorry, go for it.
Yeah, the Congo. Dinosaurs. Dinosaurs been spotted out there. What do they call it? The Mokele?
Mokele Membe. I worked 2 years on that subject. In fact, it's getting rekindled right now. I'm trying to get some funding together. Yeah, I had some sources actually directly in the Congo and telling me what they saw. And this animal has been seen since the 1700s. The missionaries were the first to actually see the animal and report back to Europe, but all the natives have been really familiar with this animal for generations and hundreds of years.
Mr. Alex Mistretta, cryptozoologist, former big cats in Britain and expert in hominids, African cryptozoology, worked for MUFON. Busy man, Alex Mistretta. Hey, thanks for joining us right here at Third Phase of the Moon. Tell everybody how to get in touch with you and any last words for the Third Phase of the Moon viewers. We're going to be going to UFO sightings and reports right after Alex.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, the best way to get in touch with me is I regular update on my website. It's called thepresencebook.com. I have all the photos of this case on there, and then I'll have a little more as the weeks go on. So thepresencebook.com. Just go to the comment section. That's usually the best way to get in touch with me.
Alex Mistretta, hey, appreciate you joining us right here at Third Phase of the Moon. You keep in touch and let us know how this investigation plays out.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Everybody stand by. Third Phase of the Moon will be right back.
Third Phase of the Moon. Third Phase of the Moon.